On a cold and rainy night, a man named John Morris was driving along a dark country road, hoping to get home soon. He was feeling quite uncomfortable because the heating in his old car had stopped working. As he drove, he noticed a feeble figure standing by the roadside. The figure was that of an old woman who appeared to be weeping. She was waving her arms frantically, trying to catch John's attention. Feeling a sense of compassion, John stopped his car and went to the woman's side. She was wearing an overcoat and seemed to be shivering from the cold. She thanked John profusely for stopping to help her, calling him an angel in her gratitude. Later on, John was surprised to find that the woman he had helped turned out to be very wealthy and rewarded him generously for his kindness. Immediately, John got out of the car and made his way to the other side to open the passenger door. He called out, "Get in out of the rain. It's not fit for man or beast out there." However, the woman backed away nervously and responded, No, thank you. My car broke down, and all I need is for someone to call for a tow truck. My phone seems to be out of range out here, so if I could use yours." Regretfully, John shook his head and replied, "Sorry, lady, there's no signal all along this road. The best he can do is take you along to the nearest service station so you can use their landline." Despite John's offer, the woman appeared frightened and whispered, I don't know. I don't think it's wise." It was clear that kindness was a force that could change the world, but in this situation, the woman was hesitant to accept help. John gazed into Esther's eyes, his sincere intentions shining through his gaze. "Madam, my mother happens to be around your age, and I genuinely want nothing more than to offer you my assistance. Please allow me the privilege of helping you," he pleaded with earnestness. With a hesitant sigh, Esther reluctantly acquiesced, her fingers tightly clutching her purse, while her anxiety manifested in her choice to sit as far away from John as possible within the confines of his car. Seeking to alleviate her unease, John initiated a conversation, delving into anecdotes about his own family. "I am blessed with 3 delightful children," he began, his voice warm with paternal affection. "Jenny, Daisy, and Beth, each as radiant as a painting, and their intelligence knows no bounds. Additionally, we have another little one on the way, and my wife and I are hoping for a son to complete our familial tapestry." Esther's expression softened, her guarded demeanor melting momentarily as she responded, "I, too, have been blessed with grandchildren, and they bring immeasurable joy to my life." As Esther and John reached the service station, John expressed his concerns about their business not doing well lately. Despite this, he remained optimistic and believed that they would overcome this hurdle as they always have. Esther wanted to show her appreciation to John and asked him how much she owed him. However, John declined her offer, explaining that he and his wife had a tradition of playing a game called the Chain of Love with their daughters. In this game, they would perform a kind act for someone who would then pass it on to the next person they encountered. John encouraged Esther to keep the chain going by performing a kind deed for someone in need when the opportunity arises. He did not expect anything in return and was simply happy to spread positivity and kindness in the world. Esther made her way into the service station, where she promptly requested the assistance of a tow truck to retrieve her stranded car. Having completed her task, she proceeded to enter the neighboring diner, hoping to warm herself with a cup of steaming coffee. A charming waitress in her 30s, displaying a noticeable baby bump and a wearied but amiable expression, noticed Esther's arrival and hurriedly fetched a towel. "Oh, my dear, you look positively drenched," she exclaimed sympathetically. "Please use this towel to dry off and allow me to bring you a delightful pot of hot tea." Not content with her thoughtful gesture, the considerate waitress also brought a hot water bottle to soothe Esther's cold feet. Before long, Esther's spirits were significantly lifted, thanks to the waitress's attentiveness. As she spotted the approaching tow truck through the window, she realized it was time to settle her bill. Generously, Esther handed the waitress a crisp $100 bill, instructing her to keep the change. While the waitress momentarily left to fetch her the remaining amount, Esther surreptitiously slipped out of the diner. Returning with the change, the astonished waitress discovered a jaw-dropping surprise awaiting her beneath the teapot: a further $500 and a heartfelt note. As the customer finished their meal, they shared a story with the waitress. They had been in a similar situation once, and a kind stranger had helped them. "You don't owe me anything," the stranger had said. "Just don't let this chain of love break." The waitress felt a wave of emotion wash over her as she listened to the story. She couldn't wait to go home and hug her family. When she arrived, she found her husband fast asleep on the couch with their 3 daughters snuggled up next to him. Tears filled her eyes as she smiled and kissed her husband on the forehead. "I love you, John Moore," she whispered. Days later, John was surprised to discover that his act of kindness had made the news. Esther, a well-known chef, had read the story and was inspired to start a GoFundMe page for John and his family. She pledged to match every donation made, and the public responded generously. In the end, they raised over $100,000. John was amazed and grateful for the outpouring of support. He received over $200,000 in total, and Esther even became the godmother of his new baby. The chain of love had not been broken, but had grown stronger, thanks to the kindness of strangers.